We have Jaiveer Johal. He has come in from Chennai. He's been a keen collector of modern and contemporary Indian art, including textile art, for the past decade, and has a keen interest in the decorative arts of South India and the Deccan in particular. His passion reflects both personal and cultural roots, having grown up between Delhi and Chennai. Alongside collecting, he has collaborated with ateliers and craftsmen to revive traditional skills in woodwork and textile design, adapting them for contemporary spaces. He serves as a patron of the Delhi Contemporary Art Week, the Madras Art Weekend, the Chennai Photo Biennale, and other art organizations. With a motto of For Madras, From Madras, he has founded the Avtar Foundation for the Arts to bring great quality modern and contemporary art into the city in a curated capsule and to take the best that the city has to offer to the broader world. In his professional life, he runs the Johal Logistics Group with interest in the automotive logistics sector and contract manufacturing. He also serves on the board of startups, particularly in the clean energy sector. Jaiveer, we are very excited to see all your prized possessions. Would love to understand, why are they significant to you? And also how that shaped you as a collector. And what is it that the audience from here can learn from that journey?
From all my mistakes.
Yeah, that's an important aspect as well. So, would you?
Yes, I can. I can see myself at the moment. Yes, perfect. So, well, my colleague at the foundation has been very kind enough to do the presentation, so it's kind of fresh to me as well. I outsourced it. But yeah, I did have a chat with him, so if we can go on to the next work. So I was asked by Lakshmi, which was the first work that I bought, and I really don't have a memory of the first work that I bought, but I do have a very clear memory of the first work that I bought at auction. So we're going with that, which is this Jogain from 2001. And I have a very clear memory of it because I think I was flying from Chennai to Delhi or somewhere to the longish flight. And I put in a bid and I switched off my phone because I got onto the flight. And when I landed, I let out a scream because I'd won. And my co-passenger looked at me as if I'd gone a little bonkers. So I have that very, very kind of clear memory of buying this Jogain at a saffron art auction, probably around the time Amit was there. But yes, it was, so that was that. So that I think was very clear. And we've juxtaposed that against the Raza, very importantly because we're also talking about collecting and how we can collect works which we don't think we really can afford at the point that we buy them, right? And that's why I put that work there, because this work was bought by me from Geeta Mehra at Sakshi Gallery in Bombay. And I paid her over 9 months. Right, so we negotiated a price, and she said, and I didn't have the money to buy it, and I said, this is what it is, and we negotiated hard, by which it meant I said, please Geeta, please Geeta, please Geeta. She kept saying, no Jaiveer, no Jaiveer, no Jaiveer. So that was the negotiation. But it was bought and paid over 9 months. And I always say I'm a collector of modern art because of Geeta Mehra, because I had not even paid my first installment, and she had done this show in Madras, which she does every 2 years. And she said, I'm sending the work home. And I said, but Geeta, I've not paid for it. She said, kahan bhag raha hai? Right, so I mean, so the work came home. I eventually ended up paying for it in 6 months instead of 9. So always, I think great art, a friend of mine used to always say, is a stretch. It's always between buying that new car and taking that holiday or flying first class or whatever it is, right? I mean, we all come from a place of privilege, right? So collecting art means baseline, we're all privileged. But within that privilege, we also need to kind of sometimes make those adjustments and take those cuts if you really want to buy something which is absolutely fantastic and fabulous, right? So if we can move on to the next one. Now these two works are here because they are my favorite works. The left-hand side work is Atul's tribute to Tayyab, and the right-hand side work is Atul's tribute to Bhupen, two artists who I think are absolutely fantastic. And so this kind of also speaks into an art history and my love of art in particular. And also, don't be afraid to buy atypical works of artists, right? Which is again why we chose these. These are not typically Atul's works on either side. They're not what he's doing at the moment, but these are works which will, I think, outlast. I mean, some of them, let me, for the lack of a word, say more typical works, right? So buy what you love and what speaks to you, because at the end of the day, you need to live with these works. Yeah. I mean, and I say collect the work and not the signature, right? And so then we move on to, again, the Gaitonde, which we then juxtapose with the Sunil Gupta. Now, the Gaitonde was bought at a time when I could afford to buy it. Now I think it's just at a price point, especially since yesterday's Christie's auction. So it's hilarious. It's almost, I mean, this is either the tulip bubble or whatever it is, because every time an auction happens, you just look at the prices go up and up and up and up. And I'm too young. Maybe Amit will remember. He's much older. The older crash.
Can I just take away the
And I've juxtaposed this against with Sunil's work, and the reason why I chose Sunil's work is because I think photography as a subject is kind of under-collected and underrated. I think Sunil is one of India's most important artists, probably one of the world's most important queer photographers, and obviously this work spoke to me because of my own queerness, but also because I think that it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful work, and so we have to kind of look beyond mediums into things such as photography, printmaking, and those can be easy points of access. And just because something is produced in multiples, such as a photograph or a print, does not make it less valuable, right? I mean, it is still will hold value moving forward, right? If we can go on to the next one. So now we were talking about living with art, right? So I have, my first love is antiquities. I've always collected antiquities, silver, sculpture, growing up. I started collecting modern and contemporary art much later. So this is an old picture of the home. The works keep shifting and moving, but this is how I live. So you live with your works, right? So there is an antiquity there, there are chairs, there's Raza, an abstract work, which I was very lucky to get during COVID, hanging on the wall, along with the KG, there are books. So, you know, this is just a way of living, right? So one has to eventually kind of live with the works that one buys and hang them, and sometimes you will outgrow it, and that is also okay. Right? I mean, not everything that has spoken to you at a certain point of time in your life will continue to speak to you. So don't be afraid to kind of buy things that speak to you at that moment, because they will last you. They are who you were at that point of time. Right? So if we move forward, again, these are just glimpses of the house. So there are, I mean, that's, we were talking about Surendran Nair earlier. So there is a Surendran there. There's Manish Nai, who again, I think is a very underrated artist. I mean, you know, and not everything needs to be a Raza Souza Gaitonde, right? I mean, if you look at the house, there is a mixture of works between the contemporary and things which I've just picked up while I'm traveling. So your house kind of has to speak to who you are as a person. And don't be afraid of living with empty walls. For anybody who's starting collecting or building a home, I always say that, because it is better to have an empty wall than something that you don't love or gives a vibe of a service apartment, right? Which I think is the worst possible sin that can be committed. That again is the kind of, you know, I live with a lot of objects. As my friend Samir Wadekar, who I don't know whether a few of you know, is one of the country's best interior stylists, says, if more is more, then less is bore. So so we can move on. So this is an apartment that I did recently downstairs. Sam and I did this together. We didn't have a stylist. So yeah, I mean, you know, there is no requirement for someone to build a home only around modern or contemporary or antiquities or traditional art. All of these things can kind of live simultaneously and should live simultaneously together. And that's what I try to achieve with the kind of various spaces that I have. There's a Ratan Burman sculpture, if we move back quickly. But we have these chariot panels. There's a table that we've made out of books, and so yeah, and textiles, etc. So move forward to again, one of the other things. I'm not an interior designer by any stretch, but one of the things that I say is don't be afraid of color. I think white can be quite overwhelming, and then you just want to kind of cover it up with art. Just use color. And we can just move forward. And this is just a little bit on what we've been doing with Avtar, which was founded last year. And so we've moved beyond collecting into kind of showing art in Madras. So the first couple of shows have been through my collection. We have another one happening on the 3rd of December. We can go over this quickly and then I'll hand the mic back. Again, Prince, Haren Das, Pushpamala, please don't think of prints as something which is not collectible or is not art or is not high art, right? I mean, absolutely it is. And so the bench with the geeve, etc. We can just move quickly through. This is just to give you a visual representation of the collection a little bit. And then we're now kind of doing things with artists. We had Manisha Gera Baswani, who presented Artists Through the Lens. We're going to be showing this in Bombay as well. Hopefully in Hyderabad, if you give us some space, we're happy to bring it here. But we'll need some garden space or indoor space. But yeah, I think we can quickly, this is the current show which is on at the Foundation space in Madras. So if any of you come to Chennai, we're open Wednesday to Sunday. And I will open it up for you either on a Monday or Tuesday if required. So we have a fantastic show called At Home, which is exploring those are from Amit, by the way, those fantastic Zarinas that you see, which he was very kindful to let me have by the mango tree. But please do come and see the show. It's on, you can take my details later. And if anyone happens to be in Madras, we're going to have this on till November. And that's about it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jaiveer.